What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today I've been having a little bit of fun this morning. Well, it's actually afternoon now, but I've been driving down this little dirt road all noon, afternoon. It's about 1 now, and I'm mainly doing that to kind of just test out the truck. Ever since I did the swap, the 08 axles on this thing, I haven't really taken it off-road, which I haven't really been off-roading. Like I said, I drove down this road for about 15 miles, I think, already. And I gotta say something. This thing, it's definitely no Raptor, no Baja truck, but it's no OBS. It doesn't ride like a brick anymore, which for me was kind of like the point of this whole entire swap. So so far I'm really happy with it. But anyways, today's video is kind of talking about the 08 swap, and basically what to expect and what you should know and what I feel about it now. So let's get right into it. So the first little point that I want to talk about is basically what you are expecting out of the swap and why you want to do it, because there's a lot of different things that you can do to make these trucks ride better. But if you're looking for the extra performance, I guess, you'll get out of the axles, then you might want to consider the 05 Plus swap with this thing. And what I mean by that is that if you're only trying to expect to get a better ride out of this truck, you might not need to swap to these axles. But if you, let's say that, you know, you're towing a little bit more heavy, a little bit more, and you want better stopping, you want better turning, or you just want better upgrades for your truck, then you might want to go with the 05 Plus swap. So now, again, the reason why I'm saying that is because you have options. You can either keep your stock axles and do an RSK, which what that means is if you still have, you know, obviously, like I said, your stock axles, you're gonna have your leaf springs, and an RSK is a reverse shackle kit, I think. And what that means is that it takes your shackle from the front of the leaf, like it is stuck on the OBS, and it takes it to the back. Doing that and probably getting some better shocks, some like Bilsteins, will improve your ride. And it's probably the cheapest way that you can improve your ride on this truck. Another thing you can do is upgrade your rear leaves to at least 08 Plus. I think the 2012s or 15s Plus even ride better, but just upgrading your rear leaves, doing an RSK, and doing some good quality shocks, again, like Bilstein, it's probably what's going to give you a pretty good ride from your stock stuff. And again, like I said, it's probably going to be your cheapest option, but you're still going to have your OBS axles, which, I mean, it could be a good thing or a bad thing, you know, depending on what you want. The next step up is still an RSK, but doing Super Duty springs on the front. There's different ratings for Super Duty springs, but I believe I think they're V code. I don't know, I might be mistaken. I've never done the actual RSK, but that will be your kind of like next step up, which it will also be a little bit more money because you have to buy new leaf springs, or at least get them out of a junkyard or something. And again, like I said, the last option that you have is actually doing the 05 Plus axle swap like I did, which I did both front and rears. These are out of at least a 2008. It's 2008 Plus. So I've got the front, the back, the rear leaf springs, and I actually love the way that this truck rides. It could still be improved, and I am gonna do that later. And I'm also gonna touch up on that later in this video. But like I said, it will give you a better ride. To me, it rides like a Super Duty, so it's definitely way better than an OBS. At least the way that this truck was set up when I bought it, it rolled like a brick. So pretty much anything that I did to it was gonna improve the ride. And like I said, I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. I think the options that you have when you go to this setup, to the 05 Plus axles, is way better, because you can start doing things like 4 links, coilovers, stuff like that would help your truck, well, at least in theory, better off-road. And again, that's kind of what I'm saying. That's kind of what I want to do with this truck eventually. So another huge point that we got to touch up on is basically your budget. And this is where you can go really crazy, or you know, keep it pretty stock. And I'm gonna give you basically like a ballpark of what each thing might cost you. So basically the cheapest thing you can do is the RSK with your stock leaves. It's also probably gonna be one of the worst riding, and that's because you're still gonna keep your stock springs, except you're getting your shackles to the back. Now that's gonna run, I think, an RSK kit, I think it runs about 350 bucks, and that will give you the smallest. It's a 2-inch lift, and you can go up to like 4 or 6 inches. So that's another cool thing with the RSK, that you get at least a 2-inch lift with them. And again, that's just the RSK. If you want to do new shocks, it's probably going to be at least like another like 200 bucks. So you're looking at about 500 bucks, right, with your RSK and new shocks. So now if you do an RSK but you do Super Duty springs, you're looking at about 900 bucks to 1,000, again, plus shocks. So you're looking well into the $1,000 mark. It's a good chunk of money, and that's kind of what I decided to go with the Super Duty swap. Because with the Super Duty swap, for depending on where you're at, when you can get axles. I've seen them, and I've heard of people getting them for like 900 bucks, a whole rolling chassis. I got my rolling chassis for, I think it was $1,500. So from there, you do have to spend a lot of money on a lot of things. I think I made a video kind of talking about how much this entire swap cost me. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know that for me, this entire swap cost me probably around close to 2,500 bucks. And that is one of the cheapest ways you can do this. You can still do it cheaper. I bought a few things to make my job easier. And a few of the things that I bought that made this swap a little bit more expensive for me was the track bar bracket and my CF5 cross member. So those are the two things that I bought to make this swap easier for me. And I did buy a few of the things, but I didn't need to. Like, I bought this lift kit, which I think it was like 500 bucks from Rough Country, but you could do without the lift kit. And you could probably try and make your own track bar. I don't know if I would recommend that, but you could. But it still gets more expensive than that. If you want to go all out and really spend money on it, again, the 05 Plus gives you the best option to do that, because again, you're gonna spend, I would say, at least $1,500 to get your axles. And if you don't want to do a basic swap like I did, and you want to do something really cool, really lift it up, do 4-link, you're looking to spend upwards of like $3,000 on a swap like this. But you're gonna have one bad truck, which, like, again, it's something that I want to try and start doing with this truck, especially now that I have the tools to make my own parts. The 05 Plus axles definitely give you the most aftermarket support, not just because there's companies that sell whole kits to make these axles work with our trucks, but because once you have the axles mounted, you can actually run lift kits for the specific axles or trucks that you bought on your truck. So there's just a lot more aftermarket support, I think, for the 05 Plus axles than for our actual OBS axles, which is something super cool because you have way more options on things you can do to your truck. So kind of another point, now that we're talking about aftermarket support for these trucks and kits that you can buy to basically bolt the axles in, because most of this swap was bolt on. You have to drill a bunch of holes. Now, that being said, if you want an easier time mounting your axles, if you want to drill even less holes, again, like I said, there's a lot of options aftermarket wise. And I'll go kind of to the companies, kind of from like the most popular and more expensive to kind of like the least known and cheapest. And I think, in my opinion, at the very top, in one of like the original companies that came out making kits for these trucks, if not the original company, is RYD. Those guys have made some badass trucks, badass OBS trucks, and they have probably some of the best kits on the market for these axles. Now, that being said, it obviously comes at a premium. They are probably the most expensive company that you can choose to get your parts. But again, top shelf, amazing products. After them, there is Sky Manufacturing, I believe, Sky Off-Road Manufacturing or something like that. They just came out with their own kit. Again, an amazing company, great products at a premium. Still really expensive, but great products. I would never think twice about using either one of them. They both have an amazing reputation. Although I have never personally worked with them. Again, when I was first planning this build, I did talk to the guys at RYD. I was gonna work with them. I was gonna use some of their parts, but again, it was just too expensive for me. After them, there is Absolute Customs, and they are the guys that I used for, like, again, the parts that I already showed you that I bought for this truck. They are, I would say, probably the least well-known out of those companies, and they are also the cheapest out of them, sometimes by a lot. But again, the products that I got, I was really happy with them. They all worked, I would say, pretty well. There were some clearance issues with some of the things, but overall, great products, good quality, good prices. But ever since I used to meet them and I used them, I did have a few problems with them. Again, their products, really good, really good prices. And even their customer support is pretty good. I don't know if it was the owner or who I was talking to, but that guy helped me a lot with this truck. I was talking with him back and forth throughout the whole swap, and he helped me with a lot of stuff on it. That's why I felt that I could, you know, recommend them to you guys. Although when I got my parts, it did take a very long time to get my parts, and it's okay. I know that a lot of those things, you know, they make, and I know that it takes some time, but I think it would be a good idea for them to at least have a disclaimer, you know, saying that there's a certain lead time, and they might have it now, I don't know. But I know that when I bought my parts, it took a couple of weeks, a good couple of weeks. So it took some time, and it took a lot of hassling them, having to talk to them, you know, ask for the parts constantly, because you know, I wasn't getting anything you know, back from them, and it's really frustrating. And the reason why I'm mentioning this, because if I would have been the only guy and, you know, nobody else said anything about that, you know, I'd be fine with that. And again, like I said, they had great support. They helped me a lot. So overall, I think they're a good company, but their shipping could be better. And basically the reason why I'm saying that is because after I mentioned them on my videos, and a few of you guys actually bought their parts, you kind of went through that same hassle that I did. And I want to say sorry, you know, it really sucks. But as far as I know, everybody that has bought from them has gotten their parts. It has just taken forever. And like I said, I understand. I've worked in manufacturing, and I'm trying to get into that myself. So I know that it takes some time to get the parts out. But again, like I said, I think they could do a much better job at communicating to the customers how long, you know, it's going to take. A lot of companies say outright in their website that there could be 2-3 weeks of lead time on the product. And like, again, when I bought my parts, they didn't have that disclaimer, which for me, it would have been fine. I would have planned around it, you know. But when you order your parts, not knowing that it's going to take that long, it can be really frustrating. And again, I'm really sorry to all of you guys that did order from them and that had a hard time. But again, I wouldn't hesitate from buying from them again, and to keep recommending from them. But I will say that you might have to wait a little bit on some of the parts. So those are the 3 top companies that I know of. If you know of any, let me know down below. And the last company is Blowing Diesel. I am barely getting into it. I only have one product for the actual swap, which right now it is the sway bar brackets. But with time, I am gonna start doing a few more parts for this, like coil buckets, track bars, and eventually do the whole kit on this truck. I think here in a few months, I'm actually gonna go back and take the truck apart again to do my own parts, do my own four-link. I think first I'm gonna do my own coil buckets, and then we're gonna do our own first four-link. We're gonna do some stuff with the rear of the truck as well. So I am super excited for all of that stuff. But anyways, this video probably already went super long. I'm really sorry. I know that it was a lot of talking, but it was just a lot of things that I kind of wanted to tell you guys that I have been getting asked a lot. And I want to do a few more videos like this, kind of talking, because I get a lot of questions and I want to answer as many of them as I can. So again, always leave me those questions down below. I might make more videos like this. If you didn't like it at all, let me know as well, and I'll try not to make as many of these. But yeah, thank you guys for the support. We are really close to 9,000, pretty close to 10,000, and I really can't wait to get there. Again, thanks for subscribing, thanks for watching, thanks for liking. Keep doing it, and we'll see you for the next one.